Hello everyone, it's me Clayton. I just finished watching Bad Boys Ride or Die. Though considering that the third movie was called Bad Boys for Life, they probably should have saved that title for this one, since it's the one with an actual 4 in it. But that's neither here nor there. So this film comes to us from the same directors as Bad Boys for Life, who were going to have a Batgirl movie released by Warner Brothers before it was canceled out of nowhere. Thankfully, these guys are able to bring their slick action direction and even some cool new camera techniques into this new adventure for Mike Lowry and Marcus Burnett. But let's see if the story and the new characters can really help this stand out in this now 4 movie long series. Now, the movie stars again Will Smith and Martin Lawrence as Mike Lowry and Marcus Burnett, as Mike Lowry has gotten married to the therapist he boned in the second movie, and where Marcus has essentially believed that he is now controls the universe after he has a heart attack at the wedding and thinks he's completely indestructible. But these two buddy cops are going to have to be put to the test again when their captain Howard, who was killed off in the third movie, is posthumously declared to be at the center of a drug cartel, and that he's apparently been corrupt for years. So Lowry and Burnett, being his best cops as well as his best friends, decide to look into the case to try and prove Howard's innocence. While while it appears that the actual villains of the film are trying to set up Lowry and Burnett as traitors to get even Miami's finest against them. So they have to be fugitives from the law, while Armando, one of the villains from the last movie, gets to work with Burnett and Lowry to essentially patch things up and to also, work things out, even though he's a convicted criminal at this point. So yeah, this movie does combine a lot of typical buddy cop story plots, especially when the stakes have to be raised ever ever so higher after the absolute insanity that was for life. They even managed to bring in the ammo recruits from the third movie, who I thought were kind of like late stage Fast and Furious characters, but they have grown on me by the time this movie has come out, especially since two of them end up in a relationship and admittedly a pretty funny scene partway through. You know what else is funny throughout most of the movie? Martin Lawrence and Will Smith. I know this is Will Smith's first movie in like 2 years thanks to a certain Oscars incident, but I can't deny that he has always been funny when working with Martin Lawrence, and it's the same thing here. Their banter clearly hasn't gone away with age, especially since both of them look pretty good for men in their 50s. Especially considering that Martin Lawrence's whole subplot with him going on a diet because of his sugar and Skittles addiction, and when it comes to Mike Lowry's subplot revolving around panic attacks, it feels like there's actual character development given to these initially very one note archetypes, while they still feel like the characters that we remember from the old Bad Boys films. On top of that, the action direction is, in my opinion, the best of the whole series. There are several shots of the film that really make the action stand out. Like, there are some shots that look like a first person shooter game, there's others where the camera goes all across the action in ways that you wouldn't expect, like in a glass elevator, or there's an action scene that takes place near an alligator. Heck, there's one action scene where a character has to shoot someone's bulletproof vest just to get them out of a way of an attack. Usually, when they have to either shoot through someone or deliberately harm one of their allies, they have to, deliberately harm them. But they actually find a clever way around this where they don't really harm the ally, but they still ultimately open up a way to take out a villain. Especially since, surprisingly, the best action scene doesn't go to Lowry or Burnett, but instead Reggie, a character that you might remember from the Bad Boys 2. Well, he's back in this movie, and he honestly has the best action scene of the whole film. And it really makes me think that Bad Boys knows how to handle its side characters better than a lot of other action movies do. I wouldn't call this a masterpiece. I wouldn't consider any of the Bad Boys films masterpieces, but it's probably the best version of what the series wants to be. That's why I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. See you next time.